Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and welcome back to the DraftKings DFS Slate Breakdown. I am just coming off of watching that crazy ending to that PSG Liverpool game. Sad to see my Liverpool go out, but I'm super excited to see how far PSG can go. They're a super fun team to watch, and I kind of hope they win it. They're kind of like the neutrals team for me. In terms of our slate for Wednesday, though, it is I think the less appealing of our 2 days of slates. We've got essentially two ties that are already over in Arsenal and PSV, and then Aston Villa Bruges with a pretty big gap in aggregate already going into the second leg here. Then Atleti Real Madrid, of course, and they're neck and neck there. Real Madrid with the slight lead there. But of course, Atleti are at home now, so who really knows who ends up coming away with the win there? It should be an exciting game to watch, if nothing else. And in terms of odds, Arsenal are the biggest favorites at minus 250, despite already being up 7-1. I think we just have to look at this as just a one-off game because it's essentially a friendly match because PSV are not coming back from 7-1. And because of that, we might see some really weird lineups. So, bit of a wait and see there. But we will just go off of the projected for now and what would be the case for set pieces for Arsenal. In this team, they have Odegaard and Rice starting, which means that just be them splitting most likely. They don't have Nwaneri in, who, if he starts, there's a small chance that he ends up taking some set pieces over Odegaard again. But Odegaard has had the priority as of late. If Odegaard doesn't play, we could maybe see like a Zinchenko potential set piece situation. But once again, like we'll see what lineups end up being. Who really knows here? And if we see no Rice, maybe Trossard ends up taking. But who knows if he even starts? So yeah, I'm kind of up in the air about what this game ends up looking like. And then for PSV, they have a pretty much like full strength PSV lineup projected, which should mean Noah Lang sets. Perisic maybe takes a couple of one-offs as well. And I don't know what is going on with Joey Veerman. He is not in projected still. I don't know if he's injured or they're just resting him. Who knows there? But he'll take if he ends up playing. And then Atleti and Real Madrid. Atleti should be an Alvarez and Griezmann split. It's almost turned into like almost a true split. Like they pretty much take 50-50, which is not great for your traditional Griezmann role. Usually he's been almost a pseudo monopoly set piece taker. He still plays a decent chunk short, which is not great when he's already into a split now, but still their most talented attacker on this team. And then for Real Madrid in this lineup, it should be Modric monopoly. He has not played in UCL a ton for them recently, and when he's not in, it's Rodrigo, but it'll be Modric if he starts. Aston Villa and Bruges should be, if Rashford plays, it should be Rashford and Digne mostly. If Rashford ends up getting rested again or something, or if they don't play him, like I don't think Emery seems to be a huge fan of him. Like I feel like we should be seeing a lot more of Rashford than we are, just considering his pedigree. But he's been like a 60-minute sub or just not starting. So a little bit of a question mark here. And if he's not playing, it should be Tielemans. Another guy to watch out for is Marco Asensio. They don't have him projected, which I think is super interesting too. He's another guy that they rested over their last league match. So I just feel like surely they just start Asensio. And if he plays, he'd be the one taking like the left-footed set pieces over Digne. And then for Bruges, it should be De Kuyper and Zolis splitting. Pricing now. Mbappe at 11K feels a little steep. I fell for this trap. The first leg, he was awful. 4 points. Kind of really screwed me. If you played him, just it screwed everyone who played him with like you really need a goal contribution. And he was 10K at that slate. Now he's 1K more in the away leg now with worse goal scoring odds too on top of that. So I don't love an Mbappe here, but saying that, I know when I fade, he's dropping another hat trick. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. But I think there's a strong chance that I don't have him in cash. I'll still have sprinkles in GPP, and I never mind an Mbappe if you feel passionate about going him. Same for Vinny Jr. Like Real Madrid games can get super high scoring, and those two tend to be the benefactors. Same can be said about Rodrigo. Although I just don't think I get too much Rodrigo if Modric does end up playing because his upside doesn't tend to keep up with the other two guys, and his price is kind of similar to them, and that doesn't seem worth it if he's not going to have set pieces, which he uses to make up for his slightly lower ceiling typically. Other guys like this Ollie Watkins, I think it could be an interesting GPP play for cash. Once again, just probably not getting there just because there's cheaper Villa pieces or cheaper pieces in better spots. Like in Alvarez, I'd go over Watkins probably just because he's been super solid. He's look at this tear he's been on, by the way. He's got a goal contribution 5 straight games. That's kind of wild to see. He's looked really good in the Simeone system. Other guys, I think Trossard's a little pricey. I just don't really know what they're going to do with subs if he starts or whether he starts at all. Asensio at 8,300, I don't mind. Rashford, excuse me, at 7,700. Probably just get to this. I know he killed me in that showdown first leg, but I just bank on this talent at home. He's just so good when he's playing well. So I love Marcus Rashford here, even at 7,700, which doesn't feel like a great bargain or anything, but they've got a solid matchup. I think this game is the highest goal total as well. So I'm probably playing Marcus Rashford here, and I just like him as an option in general. Martinelli, 7,500, I don't think is terrible. The worry there is that he is working his way back from an injury, so I don't anticipate him going 90 minutes or anything. But if we're going purely off of the odds, best matchup on the slate, and not a bad play if we're going off of that. Griezmann, 6,900. I'm super intrigued by this. I know he's not looked like the Griezmann of past, getting goal contributions every game, taking a ton of crosses, playing 90. Now he's typically been a 70-minute player, like 6 points in floor sometimes. But he's shown glimpses, like that brace against Salzburg, brace against Slovan Bratislava. I know that like those are not to the same caliber of Real Madrid, but if there's a time for him to roll back the years, maybe go 90 minutes. I feel like this is the game. They subbed him for, I think, Jose Maria Jimenez when they subbed him at 70, which just shows that they were happy losing 2-1 on the road. They were comfortable just going back home, just that one goal down on aggregate. So I think they'll be potentially a little bit more lenient with those Griezmann minutes. Maybe he gets that 90, like I said. And I just believe in the upside here. Like I said, he's the most talented attacker on this team. He's Mr. Atleti. And 6,900 is just an outrageous price for him. So love a Griezmann play here. Noah Lang, another guy in that similar price range. I'm just so afraid of what this game ends up being. Like I said, it's essentially a friendly. PSV are not coming back from 6 goals down away. They could just throw in the towel and not even start any of these first team guys. And if they do start, they're probably going to play in like 60 minutes, say, just making sure nobody gets injured. I'm sure it's their number one concern. So I'm a little scared of a Noah Lang here. But saying that, 6,700 is not a crazy play for potentially a monopoly in a game that, in theory, they just go for. Although I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up kind of like that Dortmund Sporting game a couple weeks ago where it was just super boring, not a ton going on. Both teams kind of just playing just for the sake of it, waiting for the final whistle. So I have my concerns about Noah Lang, but once again, 6,700 is a super, super fair price. In terms of guys below who I consider, Raheem Sterling at 4,800. In theory, he should just go 90 because he's just not part of the first team plans. They just try to not play him if possible. And this Arsenal team is still going to be better than this PSV team, even if it's this PSV first team. Like Sterling at 4,800 just seems cheap to me. So I could see myself getting there. Seems like a Luke de Jong. I don't mind either, just for some sort of upside. And then a sore loss if he starts at 4,400, I think could be a little bit tempting as well. So yeah, those are the forwards. In terms of midfielders, the Arsenal guys have finally gotten priced up. We've seen Odegaard like ridiculously underpriced for like 5 weeks straight. He's finally 9K now. This is what he should be at. And now it's just a tough place to play him just because of the high pricing. And once again, I'm just afraid of that Arsenal game. I have no clue how that's going to shake out. But he's got the history against PSV, if nothing else. 35 points in the first leg. However, I worry that he did not get the floor. That was 2 goals, 1 assist. It is all goal contributions. He would have had like 7 points. Otherwise, he's not a guy who gets a ton of crosses. He takes his side of corners, but he offers almost nothing in terms of open play floor. And that's a concern when you're playing a premium for this, especially in a game that they're just not going to go for. Like Arsenal are going to play conservative-ish. They'll probably keep possession. They'll take a chance if it is presented to them, but they're not going to be super frantic. They're not going to try to push the agenda. So I worry a little bit about an Odegaard play. Same with like a Nwaneri at 8K. Same with Bierman 7,400. Same with Rice at 7,200. All these guys are from the Arsenal PSV game. And like I said, I am not going to get there a ton, most likely. And I'm just afraid of how that game can go. Tielemans is 6,800. If there's Rashford, I think it's a horrible play, frankly. He just probably won't have any sets. The one advantage you could say is maybe he's just a safe 90 play. But I just don't want to play 6,800 for a setless midfielder who, best case, maybe gets 20 minutes of sets at the end. However, saying all that, if there's no Rashford, Tielemans gets a side of corners there, and I think he immediately becomes a lot more appealing of an option. Look at this Jude Bellingham price, 6,400. This is a tempting play, even in cash. You worry about his fitness slightly, but if there was a time to push him to his limits, it is now in, I don't want to say must-win Champions League game, but a must-advance Champions League game for them. He's had a solid floor typically as well. Like, he'll get 6, 7 points just in tackles, shots, foul draws, with just these kind of periphery points. And then, of course, he offers that upside. And in this Real Madrid game, where I think there could be a ton of goals if there's like an early Atleti goal or something. Atleti have had like that 4-4, I think it was. I think that was them. Or whatever. They had a super high scoring game a couple weeks ago. I think it was against Barcelona. And Bellingham can definitely be a cheaper way to get exposure to that game over your Mbappes, your Vinny's, your Rodrigos. So I don't mind a Jude Bellingham play here whatsoever. He's not typically my kind of vision for a cash play, but 6,400 is just too tempting of a price to not really take a look at. Mikel Merino at 6K. This is the Arsenal guy I'm probably, I don't want to say most likely to go to, but that I'm pretty intrigued by. He's got a ton of upside when he starts as the striker, which they have projected him as right now. He just plays like your traditional big, tall, lump crosses into number 9, which is just completely fine. Like he'll just get goal contributions, hopefully. Not a ton of forward to him. But at 6K on the biggest favorite, I don't mind that play whatsoever. Other guys lower. Luka Modric at 4,600, he feels super tempting. The worry there is the minutes. But even then, look at that. He had 8 floor in 28 minutes against Atleti. And Real Madrid are down, remember, in the tie. So Modric is probably a borderline lock. He's gone 90. Like, he can go 90. I don't think he'll go much more if it goes to extra time. But I'll take 90 minutes of Monopoly Luka Modric for sure if we can get that. Liam Bailey at 4,500 doesn't feel that bad of a play either. The issue there is he is typically a 60-minute player. Of course, you can definitely pay that off with a goal contribution. That is what you're playing him for. Below him, maybe a Vanaken GPP. And then maybe like a Chouameni. I don't mind either. Like he'll get his 6 to 10 and that'd be fine completely, especially if he starts in the midfield. And below him, I don't see a ton. All right. Defenders. It is not that appealing of a defender slate. There's Digne, there's De Kuyper. Those are your 2 set piece takers. They're both priced appropriately for those roles, 5,900 and 5,600. My issue with Digne is that he is a strong sub risk. He went 90 against Bruges, which I found a little bit surprising. Like they are not afraid to give him the 65th minute to 45-minute sub whatsoever. And he doesn't usually have the floor to sustain being a 60-minute player. Like he'll get to 7 or 8. He'll get to like 12, maybe if he goes 90 with a clean sheet. But if he doesn't do that, you're looking at 5 to 6 points probably. So that's a little bit scary. De Kuyper, his issue is he's got the minutes. Like he will go 90. I want to say with almost certainty. He just doesn't have He doesn't bomb up the field and cross a ton like you expect from a super attacking fullback. Like they'll play him at center back sometimes in the back three. Like at Belgium, he's played, I want to say center back in like a back four almost. But he will have set pieces. It is a game where Bruges should be going for it. Got that goal against Villa in the first leg too. I think it's just a safe play here, especially if you're doing the minutes game. So I don't mind it at Kuiper. And then after that, there is just, I don't want to say garbage, but let's just say not great plays here in the middle. Like you've got Tierney if he starts, sure. Uh, Looking at names who I'm trying to find that are even remotely appealing. I'm failing that. Velocity at 3,300, sure. And then we've got Ben White at 2,800, who I think is the best of the value plays. He's gotten quite a bit of goal contributions when he started. Not a ton of floor there, and coming off of that long injury, which means he's probably not going to be a 90-minute player or anything. But biggest favorite, 2,800 in projected. I like that as a play. Just as a cheap body on a big favorite. And there's some defender, like I said, I just don't love here. Like that's why I'm tempted even by a De Kuiper and a Digne, despite them both having their drawbacks. And then goalkeeper, as always, it is a complete crapshoot. I chose Radetsky today in my main cash team. He was by far the worst one. I could have gone Donnarumma, who would have been great. I could have gone Urbig, who would have been fine. It's just a complete wheel. You can get it wrong, you can get it right. It is typically a big swing, and it just sucks. But that's just how it is. So just hope you get lucky. Frankly, there's not a ton of edge here. There's just so much variance in the goalkeeping position, and it's just good luck. That's all I can say. In terms of a core, I don't have a ton of guys here. Like I said, I don't love this slate, frankly. It's just hard to pick from. I'm starting with Rashford a little hesitantly. Like I said, he's burned me numerous times, but when he's on, he's on. And I think he could definitely do well at home against Bruges despite sucking the first leg. And then I'm probably going Antoine Griezmann. Like there is Raheem Sterling, there is like cheaper alternatives, but I don't think they have the same upside of a Griezmann. He's on penalty kicks. Like I said, I think this Real Madrid game could get pretty high scoring. So I'm hoping for just a Griezmann Renaissance game. And then in terms of a third piece, I'm going Modric if he starts. If not him, I'll probably just play De Kuiper. I don't feel good about any of these guys, frankly, but that's probably where I'd start a lot of my builds. As always, make sure to check out the FSI Discord link through the website below. Access through the website links below, excuse me. But yeah, guys, I will see you for the next one. Good luck and peace.